I have never climbed anything ever in my whole life. Maybe a tree like once, but it was one of those easy to climb ones that takes no effort in about 5 minutes. I have never climbed anything like this, more importantly. Not only have I never climbed something like this, I have never once had an urge, a sign, or any type of divine power tell me I wanted to climb something like this. I might just throw up by looking at this picture. I'm from Colorado. I'm surrounded by mountains. Not once have I said, let me climb that fucking thing. It's just not me. I am simply not built like that. But do you want to know who is built like that? The subjects of my favorite documentaries professional climbers. Climbers such as Alex Honnold, Marc-Andre Leclerc, and this guy whose name is hard to pronounce, Nirmal Purja. He will be called Nims from now on. This may seem like a niche genre with not a lot of films to draw from, and in saying that, you would be right, especially considering I just started watching films like this. But because I've enjoyed them so much, I really just want to talk about what makes these climbing documentaries, as well as climbing films in general, such a joy to watch for me personally. In the same vein as professional football and basketball, golf, tennis, ping pong, grape stomping, I can never do any of it. In a million years. Nor, as stated earlier, do I really want to. But that's exactly what gives climbing its edge. It feels as if you are witnessing something superhuman, something that doesn't look possible. And in that way, it has quite a mystique about it. It gives me a personal feeling of success when they make it up the mountain, and very, very sad feelings when they don't make it back. It's a world where I know for a fact that I cannot nor ever try to succeed in, but the emotions and the actions of the people put me directly into that world. In the same way, I could never dunk a basketball on a 10-foot hoop like Aaron Gordon, but still love watching that man throw that shit down. I could never climb an 8,000-foot peak, but I could still love watching the pros go get it. But in a sense, I also get empowered watching these people who I've never even heard of climb these mountains. Like a sense of pride that I'm actually the same species as these maniacs. When they succeed, I can't help but smile, and when they fail, I cry in my car for a week straight, mourning some of these people who I just found out existed. The spectacle of the whole craft is enough to justify these films. But if I wanted just the spectacle, I could watch a 5-minute YouTube video and get the same feeling. There's something else that these films have that make them so impactful, and I'll tell you what it is: personality. So if you've seen any film about climbing, it's most likely Free Solo, the Oscar award-winning documentary about the climber who climbs insanely tall things without a rope. This is indeed the film that got me suddenly on the climbing binge. First of all, it's fantastic. Go watch it, please. It's on Disney+. But the man it features is the star of the show, just as much as the climbing. His name is Alex Honnold, and he is a fucking psychopath. Just a man with absolutely no fear in his body. A hermit of a man, really, with really great grip strength, who actually demonstrates his own philosophy about life. He is a man who sees climbing as not only a great escape, but a calming exercise, an act of freedom, an act that he is required to commit in order to feel happiness. It is everything to him. His sole focus on life is climbing. This blew my mind because I haven't thought about climbing once in my life. And this guy over here is risking his life for basically no reason, just because he wants to. He even has a girlfriend who loves him very much, and he would trade it all away for climbing if he needed to. A man driven by pure passion and respect for the sport, a genuine psychopath, but a good psychopath because the only person he would hurt would be himself, at least physically. He has a very big following now, and deservedly so. He's crazy, and I have so much respect for him and his mentality. He is the biggest part of why that documentary is so watchable. That brings me to my next character in these climbing films, Marc-Andre Leclerc, another man who is justifiably insane. He is more of an alpine climber. He also uses no ropes. Just because, why not, I guess. It has something to do with freedom and pure focus. Marc-Andre found climbing as an escape as well, but also as a way to stay focused. He had major ADHD, and the only place he felt normal was while climbing. He is one of the most crazy figures in the sport, as he kind of came out of nowhere, but truthfully, he is just a goofball, also with a girlfriend. He was so charismatic and clearly such a pure soul, whose true love was climbing. I loved him. He unfortunately died a few years ago in an avalanche, which is revealed in the documentary, and when the news broke, something inside of me broke with it. I feel like I knew him after watching it, like he is someone I could have been friends with. And that's what a good documentary does. It makes you care. I cared about Leclerc as well as I care about Honnold. Number 3, the technical stuff. You see, when you make a documentary about the mountains, you get to show a lot of the mountains. You want to know what like my favorite thing ever is? The mountains. I just love the way they look, and God, does it really tickle me in the right area watching these movies. The cinematography is absolutely outstanding. Some of these shots send shivers down my spine. I especially love the shots where you see how tiny the climber is compared to the mountain. It's just gorgeous. Let's just take some time and look at some of these mountains. Nice. Look how tall that thing is. Who would ever climb that? See, you see what I'm talking about here? Come on. Oh my god, it's so gorgeous. Other than the cinematography, just the story crafted by the directors of these documentaries are also just so interesting. Like in Free Solo, where his goal is set from the beginning to free solo El Capitan. And you watch him get ready and try to do it. It's very easy to follow, easy to watch, super entertaining. Edge of your seat type of drama. In The Alpinist, they kind of just follow Marc-Andre Leclerc do the same thing with his other giant mountain, but it's on ice is kind of the thing there. But while that's happening, he's so crazy he disappears for like half a year to do more climbing with his friends. Super entertaining and just a joy to watch. In 14 Peaks, a man wants to climb all the 14 8,000 foot peaks inside like a year or something. A feat never even close to being done. Like the record is 6 years. He wanted to do this within like 6 months. He's crazy. Super entertaining and thrilling from start to end. All of these films are just pure entertainment. And as a guy who was never into climbing, never heard any news about climbing, and don't know any professional climbers, it should show a lot that these films appeal to me so much. What I'm saying is, even if these films don't seem interesting to you, you have to watch at least one of them because you might just fall in love with them like I did. Now, as a last little bonus section here, I want to talk about the French animation climbing film that just came out on Netflix, which will hopefully be nominated for animated feature. It's called The Summit of the Gods. The Summit of the Gods is dope. I loved the animation style, the characters were interesting, and the plot was really, really interesting. Basically, a guy thinks this climber has possible evidence that the first Everest mission was actually technically the second Everest mission, which is a true discrepancy, by the way. So in a way, it's framed as a true story. Again, the shots are amazing, the editing is insane at times, and the voice acting is all great. With my new knowledge and love for everything climbing, I genuinely loved this film, and it became one of my new favorites of the year. It's not perfect, but it is very competent and very, very good. Now, with that out of the way, all I have to say is go watch these movies. They are seriously all worth a watch, and even if you don't know anything about climbing, take it from me, a man who never even had a harness on his entire life. They are worth a watch.